Have you ever really stopped to think about what it takes to communicate? I mean, really think about it. To speak, to hear, to actually understand and be understood. It's this incredible world we live in every single day, but so often we take its complexity for granted. Well, today, we're going to dive deep into the world of communication health and see what it's all about.
So, that's the big question we're going to tackle. What does it really take to be heard? We're going on a journey today, starting way up high at the global level, looking at these big campaigns to protect our hearing. And then we're going to zoom all the way down to the incredibly personal, one-on-one process of helping a child find their voice.
And here's why this is so urgent. We're actually facing a growing public health challenge. Big organizations like the World Health Organization are sounding the alarm. They're seeing a real spike in hearing loss, especially among kids and teenagers. And the craziest part? So much of it is completely preventable.
And that right there is our first line of defense. According to experts like Dr. Neil DeSano from ASHA, that's the American Speech Language Hearing Association, it all starts with awareness. It's pretty simple, really. If people, and just as importantly, the policymakers making the rules, get how serious the risks are, then we can actually start to move the needle.
And look, this isn't just a local thing. We're talking a global effort here. The WHO, working with groups like ASHA, has put together these huge initiatives, like International Ear Care Day. They're literally bringing experts from all over the world to Geneva to figure out how to tackle this on a massive scale. The mission? Get the word out about noise-induced hearing loss, the kind we can stop.
So how do we take all this high-level awareness and, make it real? Well, it comes down to professionals on the ground taking action. As part of the Make Listening Safe campaign, they're encouraging audiologists to do these really practical things. Use the toolkits the WHO provides, set up screening events at schools, call up the local news, and hey, get on social media and reach young people where they actually are.
Okay, so protecting our ability to physically hear sound, that's one massive piece of the puzzle. A huge piece, for sure. But what happens when the problem isn't the ears, but how the brain itself is processing language? This is where we shift from that big, macro problem to something deeply personal and way more complex.
And this brings us to a point that is just absolutely critical. We have to understand the difference between a language difference and a language disorder. They sound similar, but they're worlds apart. On one side, you've got a language difference. That's a totally normal part of learning English as a second language. But over here, you have a language disorder. That's a real impairment where a child has trouble in both their native language and in English. Getting this right is everything.
Because when we get that wrong, well, the results can be just heartbreaking. Which brings us to a boy named Eddie. For years, as he was struggling in school, he was just dismissed. And the reason was always the same. Everyone just figured, oh, he's just an English language learner.
And the result of that mistake? It's just tragic. By the time Eddie was 15 years old, he was reading at a second grade level. A real, treatable language disorder was completely missed, all because it was written off as a simple language difference. It's a powerful, powerful reminder of just how high the stakes are.
So of course, the big question is, how do we stop this from happening? How do we get better at this so we can correctly identify the kids who really need help without mislabeling those who are just on a normal journey of learning a new language?
Well, the answer is to look beyond those old-school standardized tests, which we now know can be really biased. We need to use other tools, smart, evidence-based strategies that give us a much more accurate picture. We're talking about things like parent questionnaires. One study actually calls this the mother knows best approach for a reason, and just watching kids in their natural environment, like the classroom. And there are even these clever techniques like non-word repetition tasks, which check the engine of language processing without relying on vocabulary.
Okay, so once you've used these better tools, and you know for sure that it's a genuine disorder, that's when a whole new journey starts. It's a journey of hope, a journey of hard work, and it's where therapy begins. And let me tell you, it's a true partnership.
At the very heart of this journey is a specialist, the speech-language pathologist, or SLP for short. You can think of them as the architects, the guides, the coaches who design a totally personalized plan to help a child build the communication skills they need.
And the impact they can have is just incredible. You don't have to take my word for it, just listen to what this parent, Amy Carley, said. Seeing her child start to connect the dots, she said it's been amazing. It's literally about unlocking a child's ability to connect with their world.
But here's something you really need to understand. The SLP can't just wave a magic wand.
Experts like Ann Coomer are crystal clear on this. Family involvement isn't just nice to have, it is absolutely essential. The real progress, the breakthroughs, happen when the family keeps the work going at home, between those therapy sessions.
Because at the end of the day, therapy isn't really about making a child dependent on a therapist. Nope. The real goal is to empower the parents. It's to give you the tools, the strategies, and the confidence to become your child's #1 communication coach every single day.
So when you pull the lens back, you start to see that this whole thing, it's a team sport. It really is. From the policymakers at the WHO setting global priorities, to the audiologists on the ground running screenings, to the SLPs making those careful, crucial diagnoses, and all the way to the teachers and families who provide that daily support. Everyone has a position to play.
And that brings us right back to where we started. Communication. It's the glue. It's the fundamental thread that connects every single one of us. So whether we're talking about protecting our ears from a loud world or making sure that every single child gets the right support to find their voice, it's a responsibility we all share. So the only real question left is, what's your part in all this? How will you help protect it?